On February 6, 1840, the Treaty of Waitangi was signed.
Do you think we should vote for the New Zealand ACT Party?
The issue of co-governance with Māori is set to be a big talking point at the next election. The ACT Party, it'll campaign for a referendum on the issue. Leader David Seymour saying the Treaty of Waitangi was not a partnership.
He succeeded on the euthanasia referendum. Now David Seymour wants the question of co-governance put to the ballot too.
Co-governance is actually exclusive. I think it creates resentment. My reading of the treaty is it says all people have the same rights and duties. When it comes to nationwide democratic institutions having some seats reserved at the table, I just don't think that's compatible with one person, one vote democracy.
David Seymour says it will be a bottom line when forming a government with National. He also adds it'll require a new law defining the treaty principles with a referendum held at the following election.
Some points taken directly from the New Zealand ACT Party website. All of the good political movements of the past 400 years have been about ending discrimination on the basis of race, religion, sex and sexuality to treat each person with the same dignity. The Treaty Principles Act would be short but decisive. It would define the principles of the treaty as 1. All citizens of New Zealand have the same political rights and duties. 2. All political authority comes from the people by democratic means including universal suffrage, regular and free elections with a secret ballot. 3. New Zealand is a multi-ethnic liberal democracy where discrimination based on ethnicity is illegal. There's been no debate. Co-governance is everywhere but nobody has ever asked whether we want it. People feel unable to criticize it for fear of being called racist. In a democracy, we the people should have the right to determine the future of our country. ACT proposes that the next government passes legislation that says all citizens have the same political rights, then ask the people to vote on it becoming law. ACT stands for equal rights. One person, one vote. We hope you join us.
Co-government, the dividing of people into two different baskets of political rights, is not only wrong but actually counterproductive. And so in this paper we set out in 3 areas how we would deal with the increasing judicial activism around the meaning of the treaty with the Treaty Principles Act, how we would go about reversing much of the legislation that has been put in place, particularly over the last 5 years, that tends to give people different rights and duties based on their whakapapa, and how we would go about reorienting the public service to use data and evidence to focus on all people's equal opportunity rather than what we would regard as lazily dividing people into tangata whenua and tangata tiriti, as has become fashionable across many parts of the public service.
Certainly, the irons are charging, especially with New Zealand ACT MPs having so many net positive ideas. One could say that actions speak louder than words. Hopefully the Right Honourable David Seymour MP, leader of the New Zealand ACT Party, after Saturday the 14th of October 2023, New Zealand General Election Day, will be in a position to help correct the damage caused over the past 6 years by the failing Labour, Green, and Maori parties, and help set New Zealand back on a happier, more constructive course. Thank you for listening, Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.